And he wants to give his talk. So if you're ready, go right ahead, Jim.
I might say this: have you been to the top of the mountain? I want to thank the Historical Society, and especially Janice over here, for inviting me to come and talk. My name is Ralph J. Hanger. I'm 94 years old. I was born in Little St. Louis, Harrison County. My mother and father was Earl and Emma Hanger. What's that?
You can sit down if you want, if you're comfortable.
Okay.
Janice is afraid you'll get too tired.
I'll sit down then. But anyway, my mother and father separated. My mother was left with children, age 7, 4, and 3. Emma Hanger had these 3 children to raise. Manny Peters, that's not the barber, but his father, came to pick us up as children and my mother in March. I came from Little St. Louis in a wagon, and when we reached DePaul, I was so cold I was shaking and shivering. And I was deposited at Squire Green's house. That was my grandfather. And there I started my, you might say, my schooling in life. It brought me where I am today. I want to especially thank tonight my wife, Vivian, for giving me 3 good children, Steve, Jerry, and Jane Hanger. Stevie and Jerry are teachers, and Jane works for the Farm Bureau Insurance for 23 years. I was married to Vivian for 56 years. Rita Johnson was my second wife, and she passed away, as did my former wife. 1999 was when my former wife passed away. And Rita Johnson, I married, and I lived with her for 7 years, and I saw her pass away holding her hand in a hospital in 2007. I have been a community leader. I have been an educational leader. I have been a religious leader. I think I've made contributions to each and every one of those individual things that I'm talking about. I want to thank Mr. Clayton Connor for what I am today. He took me in his automobile. He taught me in school and was my basketball coach, and he took me in his automobile to Central Normal College, where I was introduced to those people up there at the college, and I worked my way through college, 4 years of college, and 3.5 years. I came back and then to Crawford County and worked in education and religion. Education was at Central Normal College and Indiana University, as well as Marengo High School, where I graduated. And I spent 35 years as superintendent of the Marengo Christian Church. I'm so proud today that the Marengo Christian Church is what it is, because it was divided at one time, and my buddy Carl Smith and I helped rejuvenate the church. We put it back together, and now I'm so thankful that church is alive today. I have so many things to be thankful for at my age. I want to speak about things that have influenced me so much in my life. The Marengo Cave, for example. Movie stars have come from all over the country to visit the Marengo Cave. Many of you didn't know we had a canning factory, tomato canning factory. Brother Otho Jackson, one of my preachers at the Marengo Christian Church, was the head of that factory. We had a factory by the name of Fine Shirt Factory. M. Fine and Sons operated that factory there for a short time, not very long ago. I saw and attended the last Crawford County Fair. It was very convenient for me to be to the fair because I lived right across the street with Butch Pearson and Maine Pearson. My aunt and uncle that practically raised me. So I had a good ticket to the fair. I remember the last fair that was held there. I have a scar where I ripped open my arm, left arm, as I was going across the fence there, helping pick up the stones off of the racetrack. I remember as a child the Idlewild excursions that were held at the Leavenworth, Ohio River. I have seen that frozen over, and the story goes that Dr. Bentz, one of our main doctors there in the county, and at Marengo, drove over the frozen river there to operate on people there across in Kentucky. My basketball coach, and who I'm so thankful for being what I am today, Clayton Connard, and his wife took me to Danville, Indiana, where I spent 4 years and finished the 4-year college there at Danville, Indiana, in 3.5 years. Clayton Connard, Curtis Swearns, D.C. Graham, and Ralph Hanger were all basketball coaches, baseball coaches at Marengo High School. One of my proudest moments was being the winner of the 57 sectional at New Albany and going to the regional and losing out by 3 points losing out to the team that beat me beat our team by 3 points. I want to remember also that the Legion tournaments that we had in baseball, I was one of the early players of baseball. I started in at 13 and I played baseball, and I believe I could have gone to the major leagues had I had the proper coaching. We had several stores that I want to talk about. Enoch Hornby was one of the owners of the store. Owen Bollis was the owner of the store at Marengo, Durr's Grocery, and other places that Butch Pearson's restaurant also who backed me up when I was a sophomore in high school and said, backed me up against the wall and said, "You're not going to go to school anymore. I'm not going to pay for your education. little did he know that I told him at the time, I said, I'm not afraid of you. He was a very stern man. He was a mean man at times. I said, I'm not afraid of you. You're not going to keep me from going to finishing my school and going to college. But he later on helped me out. I'm thankful for that. When I came back from the service, I spent 3 years in the service, 3.5 years in the service of my country. When I came back from the service, he tossed me his keys and said, here you go on your vacation while you're with me and drive my car as much as you want to drive it. So I'm thankful for that. I'm so thankful for the schools that we have in this county. We used to have spelling bees in the county. And I remember one of my teachers that I had, and I was so thankful that I had her because she only taught 4 years, was Janet Jenner, the wife of Senator Jenner. She was a beautiful lady. She was a Scotch lady when she came to teach us. The only teaching that she did was at Marengo School. I am so proud of our churches that we had. At one time we had 8 churches in Marengo's area. And I attended the Marengo Christian Church when I was 4 years old. I started Sunday school there. And Hazel House, maybe you remember Hazel House, was my Sunday school teacher, and she certainly had a very important part of my life. The Marengo State Bank, Sheldon Hawkins and Ida Horner. Ida was one of my former teachers also, working at the bank. Green Funeral Home was a place that I worked and helped out for 30-some-odd years there in the Green Funeral Home. And Gordon Green was one of my best friends, and he told me one time, he says, I enjoy my work, and I want you to enjoy it. And he said, you know, there's so many people that dies in this cemetery. You'd be surprised at the people that don't pay people. He said, I just mark them off as bad debts. Mark Terry, insurance. Mark and Truman Terry, very fine friends of mine, and I'm so thankful that they had a part of my life. I worked at the Pole Lumber Company for a number of years there. Bob and Bill and Claude Poe were some of the owners of that lumber company. Another individual I want to mention is the W.E. Jenner and Sons. Woody, Judy, and Lauren, and Donald Jenner made up the W.E. Jenner and Sons. I worked at Butch's Restaurant on the corner there at Marengo. I worked there, and my Aunt Mame and Uncle Butch practically raised me. And I want to remember the doctors that we had in Marengo at one time. Dr. Land, Dr. Bench, Dr. Luckett, and Dr. Litch. All of those were fine doctors that we had in Marengo. And so, as I sit here and talk to you tonight, I want to thank all of those people and thank you for the opportunity to come and go over here to speak. I hope that you reach the top of the mountain tonight. Thank you. If you have any questions you'd like to ask me, I'd be glad to answer them if I can.
How many years did you teach at Milltown?
I taught at Milltown for 14 years, the superintendent of Milltown School, and taught there for 14 years and coached basketball for 4 years over there. You're one of my students. Here's one of my students.
And Mr. Hanger was superintendent when I was in school, out at the high school.
Really was.
So if you'll excuse me, I'll get about my business. I've got to go over to my son's. Stevie, he's prepared a meal for me, so I've got to go early. So I thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you for coming.
We thank you very much. Let's do it.